This is Valley News Live at 10.
When you discover a fraud, it's like an iceberg, and you discover the tip of the iceberg, and what lies beneath is much greater and more vast than you can possibly understand at first.
Tonight, VNL investigates after nearly 50 people were charged for their alleged roles in a $250 million COVID relief fraud scheme based out of Minnesota.
U.S. attorneys say the group exploited a federally funded child nutrition program. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor has the latest.
The scheme that began with a simple idea in March of 2020 grew to become the largest pandemic fraud in the United States.
47 defendants have now been charged for scheming tens of millions of dollars worth of COVID-19 funding.
The defendants obtained over $250 million from the child nutrition program through Feeding Our Future.
Federal prosecutors allege the defendants set up separate companies through the nonprofit Feeding Our Future to defraud the federal program.
The government probably needed to be a little bit more careful and kind of vet out who they were giving money to.
The defendants are also accused of then using the money to buy things like luxury cars and property. U.S. attorneys say they've so far managed to recover about $50 million, but Joe Irby, a Moorhead-based attorney, says it could be hard to get it all.
What would end up happening is essentially a lot of those assets would get frozen, and then the government or whoever was giving out the money would get those things back, sell them, and try to recoup as much as they could, actually get. It's kind of a long process to do that.
But why was it so easy for these individuals to even get the scheme started?
Anybody can set up a nonprofit, and you can do that in a matter of minutes.
Irby believes the government's lack of oversight may be to blame.
I mean, you're seeing stories now where they're just having to give away whatever money they have left, and they're having to try to figure out where to spend it. And so there just really was no oversight as far as who they were giving money out to.
Irby says going forward, the government's vetting process may be more demanding.
They may ask a few more questions. They may, want to verify that 501c3 status before, giving money out. One bad apple can ruin the whole bunch. It's tough to see that their job might become more difficult, or it might take longer to help somebody, because there may be some extra steps involved.
In Moorhead, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
And as this investigation continues, more arrests may be coming.
It's time now to talk about the weather. First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joins us now to look at the forecast and maybe some changes coming our way, Hutch.
Yeah, some big changes, and some of us noticed it throughout the day. A lot of range in conditions across our viewing area. Right now, the Fargo area enjoying quiet conditions, a little on the breezy side, but not too bad. Some showers wrapping up here that have been fairly persistent throughout the entirety of our day. More clouds up north. Hey, some severe thunderstorms just pushing out of the Twin Cities area, but that's about it for our region. Here you can see the big changes. Warm air near Minneapolis driving those thunderstorms out of here. It's 77 there, and it is, wow, 54 in Langdon, 52 in Hallock, and it's cool now with a north wind. So that's tugging this cool air up in Canada our way. Now, I don't see 37 in our forecast for tonight, but we could have some morning 30s before we're all said and done. More on that in a minute, and not tomorrow morning. Overnight tonight, temperatures slipping into the 40s for most of us. Breezy enough to keep the atmosphere stirred up and keep it from getting too cold. Those changes in the form of cold air are on the way, so we'll talk about cold. We're also going to talk about wet weather in the forecast, and the northern lights could make a return to the valley as well, provided the clouds allow us a chance to see them. We'll talk about when and where and all of this in your hour-by-hour forecast here in just a moment.
Hey, thanks, Hutch. And as our weather is changing, it's a good idea to keep that VNL weather app handy for forecasts right at your fingertips. You can download and use it for free. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store today.
Just into our newsroom, the Cass County Sheriff says they are investigating a crash involving a Fargo police vehicle.
They say it happened just before 4 this afternoon at the intersection of 25th Street North and 1st Avenue North. They say a vehicle ran into the squad car when they both came to a red light. It appears no one was seriously hurt, though that crash remains under investigation.
Also new tonight, Fargo police arrested 7 people today for trespassing in a house that was scheduled to be demolished. The house is in the 200 block of 6th Avenue North. Police say 6 of the 7 are homeless. They're now being held in the Cass County Jail.
A Moorhead woman is in jail after police say she stabbed someone during a fight this morning. It happened in the 5400 block of 28th Avenue South around 8:30. Police say 20-year-old Jasmine Mawalo was fighting with someone when she stabbed them. She was booked in jail for aggravated domestic assault and interfering with a 911 call. The victim is expected to be okay. New information tonight about a fatal crash. A 37-year-old UPS driver is dead after a crash on Highway 281 just south of Jamestown. North Dakota Highway Patrol says the man rear-ended a fuel tanker which was turning in front of him. The driver later died at the hospital. Officials plan to release his name tomorrow. The 52-year-old driver of the tanker was not hurt.
A neighborhood in Thief River Falls is still cleaning up after a mobile home exploded nearly 2 weeks ago. Happened late on September 8th just off of Highway 59. Damaged many of the surrounding homes as well, including Jeff Berkland's. He says he had to replace 12 windows.
The pressure change is so drastic that it just creates a vacuum.
And Berkland says because of supply chain issues, he'll be windowless for another 5 weeks. If he didn't pay extra for rush shipping, he'd be waiting until December. Pennington County Sheriff's Office says the investigation is still with the state fire marshal, though they expect findings to be released soon. New at 10, the debate to allow more camera coverage for criminal trials reached the Minnesota Supreme Court today. A special committee of prosecutors, judges, and defense attorneys is being tasked with reviewing current rules. Minnesota Supreme Court captures hearings and live streams them on the internet. The Supreme Court does. Not criminal trials, except in rare occasions, like the Chauvin trial, Kim Potter trials, where there was, first of all, enormous public interest and also limited in-person options.
I realize there are competing interests here with press freedom and victim privacy, but the court should also consider damage done to the institution of the judiciary by the current lack of transparency.
The court heard arguments today like that, but did not set a deadline for a decision.
Also new for you tonight, police say a man hopped aboard a freight train and attacked the engineer with a knife this morning in central Minnesota. Police say a 42-year-old man climbed onto the cab of a train that had just left St. Cloud. Police say the man attacked the engineer, who was able to jump off and escape with non-life-threatening injuries. Police caught up with the suspect about 2 miles away in Sartell, where the train came to a stop. He's awaiting charges in the Benton County Jail.
The Jamestown Civic Center and Promotion Committee moved ahead with a quote to improve video security at the Jamestown Civic Center. The director says some of the activity in their parking lot has become dangerous. Jamestown Police Chief Scott Ettinger says being called to the Civic Center's parking lot has become a common occurrence for his department.
It is a very almost daily, if not many times a day, problem that has migrated from the downtown parking lots, and now that those are being observed, they've moved into the Civic Center area.
The committee unanimously approved a quote of roughly $25,000, which will be paid for from the Public Building Site Fund. 40 people from all over North Dakota walked out of NDSU's Berry Hall as new U.S. citizens this evening, a moment that left some with a great feeling and a great outlook.
I'm very proud, and it's been I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It feels like I'm complete now. I'm very happy, and I hope I can serve United States in a good manner.
The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Department says that North Dakota has welcomed 638 new citizens just in the last 9 months.
Meanwhile, new developments says the battle over the immigration is heating up. A Texas sheriff has now opened a criminal investigation into the Florida governor's move to fly immigrants from Texas to Massachusetts.
The sheriff says it appears the migrants were lured under false pretenses to get on the plane. Governor Ron DeSantis is not apologizing. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
With the political battle over immigration heating up, a criminal investigation is now the latest twist. A Texas sheriff opening a probe into 2 planes full of migrants flown to Martha's Vineyard last week. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis claimed credit for sending them from Texas to Florida and then to the wealthy Massachusetts island. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar believes the nearly 50 migrants were lured under false pretenses.
Somebody came from out of state, preyed upon these people, lured them with promises of a better life.
Sheriff Salazar alleging a Venezuelan migrant was paid to recruit the migrants from around a San Antonio resource center.
For little more than a photo op, video op, and then they were unceremoniously stranded.
Governor DeSantis pushing back.
The state of Florida, it was volunteer, offered transport to sanctuary jurisdictions because it's our view that, one, the border should be secured.
DeSantis, who could be a presidential contender in 2024, escalating a tactic used by fellow Republican governors of Texas and Arizona, busing migrants to northern cities. GOP leaders looking to make immigration a key issue in the midterm elections as arrests along the southern border exceeded 2 million in a year for the first time. President Biden stressing that fewer migrants are coming from Mexico and Guatemala amid a new surge of people fleeing authoritarian regimes in Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua.
And the ability to send them back to those states is not rational.
The president says the U.S. is working with Mexico and other countries to try and stop the flow. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New tonight, UND Hockey is receiving a multi-million-dollar gift from an East Grand Forks couple.
Bob and Janine Peabody are donating $2.6 million to the program. $50,000 will make an impact right away, the rest coming through their estate plan. Bob played hockey at the university in the late 50s. He was a goalie on the 58-59 team that won UND's first national championship. They say, quote, if you forget who brought you to the dance, then you missed the whole ball game. Pretty simple. You have to go back and take care of those that took care of you, end quote.
That's amazing. And speaking of hockey, new tonight at 10, a documentary movie detailing the lives of senior boys from rival hockey towns made its debut at the Fargo Theater tonight. The documentary is called Hockeyland, and it plays up Minnesota's passion for the sport.
When this project first started, they reached out to me and my team, and I was thinking that this should be some link on a website somewhere for you to watch. But now it's turned into this thing where it's nationwide in theaters, and we're getting great feedback back on the thing, and people are really loving it. And I've actually had several people reach out to me and have an emotional connection to the movie. So I think that's really great.